When I was 16, my parents were going away for their anniversary weekend. First time they ever left me alone overnight. My name's Braxley, and we lived in this old farmhouse way out in the country. Like, our closest neighbor was almost a mile away. I remember I was actually excited when they left. I even made myself a huge bowl of cereal for dinner just because I could. Stupid, right? But the house felt weird that night. Not like haunted weird, just different. Empty, but somehow not empty at the same time. I stayed up late playing video games and forgot to lock the back door. That detail still bugs me. Finally went to bed around midnight. I woke up at exactly 3:17 a.m. I know because I checked my alarm clock right away. What woke me wasn't like a crash or anything obvious. It was the sound of our kitchen timer being turned. That little mechanical, clicking sound as someone twisted the dial. Our kitchen was directly below my bedroom. I froze up completely. Then I heard footsteps on our linoleum floor. Slow and careful, like they were trying to be quiet but didn't know which spots creaked. Living where we did meant police would take forever to show up. Like 20 minutes minimum. And my phone was downstairs, charging in the kitchen because my outlet in my room broke the day before. Seriously. I just laid there, barely breathing. The footsteps moved all around downstairs. I could hear drawers opening and closing, but real gentle. Not like someone searching for stuff to steal. More like someone looking through our things. The weirdest part was when I heard one of our dining room chairs slide out. Someone sat down at our table, and they just stayed there. For what felt like hours. I kept waiting for the kitchen timer to go off, but it never did. I must have eventually fallen asleep because the next thing I knew, sunlight was coming through my window. I waited, listening for any sounds, before I finally got the courage to go downstairs. Nothing looked stolen. My phone was still there. The TV was still there. But something was definitely off. All our family photos on the walls were turned slightly crooked, every single one, and the kitchen timer was set to 17 minutes, which was extra creepy because I was turning 17 the next month. I called my parents right away, and they called the police. When the cops came, they found something that still gives me nightmares. There were signs someone had been living in our crawl space under the house. Like, for weeks. They found food wrappers, a blanket, and even a notebook with our daily schedules written down. When we go to school, when we eat dinner, when we shower, everything. They never found the person. We moved 2 weeks later. The cops also found something else they didn't tell us about at first. My dad's old hunting buddy works for the sheriff's department and told him later. There were pictures of me sleeping pinned to the wall in that crawl space. Dozens of them, taken through my bedroom window on different nights. And get this, each photo had a different number written on it in red marker, counting down from 30. The last one, taken just days before my parents left, had the number 3 on it. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had gone downstairs that night, or what that timer was really counting down to. The police installed alarms in our new house, but I still check the kitchen timer every night before bed. And I never ever sleep with my phone anywhere but right next to my pillow. I still can't eat cereal without thinking about it. Weird, the things that stick with you, I guess. I've never told anyone this part, but I swear I heard the back door open right as I was falling back asleep that night. Like someone was leaving. Sometimes I think they're still out there, watching, waiting for another chance to finish whatever they started. This happened about 2 years ago, when I was a senior in high school. My name's Bryn, and I swear I'm still not over what happened. I don't like telling this story, but maybe writing it down will help. My parents had to go to Denver for this business conference thing. It was mid-October, and I convinced them I should stay home to work on college applications. Our house is pretty old, built in the 1920s, and we were doing kitchen renovations at the time. There were these plywood panels covering parts of the walls where they'd torn stuff out. I remember it was raining that first night alone. I kept hearing these weird scratching noises, but figured it was just tree branches on the windows. I had made mac and cheese for dinner and forgot to wash the pot, so it was just sitting there stinking up the kitchen. The second day, I noticed something weird about one of the plywood panels in the kitchen. It looked different somehow, like it wasn't sitting right against the wall. I thought maybe our cat Jinx had messed with it, since she was always getting into things. I probably should have just left it alone, but I was bored. Plus, I'd always heard stories about people finding old stuff hidden in walls. So I grabbed a butter knife from the drawer and pried at the edge of the panel. It came loose way easier than I expected, like it had been removed before. Behind it was this gap, not just the normal wall space, but like an actual space between walls. It was bigger than it should have been, like someone had hollowed it out. I used my phone flashlight to look inside. At first I didn't see much, just some dust and cobwebs. But then I noticed something that made my stomach drop. There were food wrappers in there. Recent ones, like from the convenience store down the street, and an empty water bottle, and a small notebook. My hands were shaking when I reached in to grab it. Inside were these detailed notes about us, my family, when my dad left for work, when my mom took showers, what time we all went to bed, what shows we watched on TV, what bedrooms we used. The last entry was from that morning. Parents gone, just Bryn now. I dropped the notebook and backed away. Who knew my name? Who had been watching us? I started thinking about the scratching noises I'd been hearing at night, the times our cat would hiss at the walls for no reason. I called the police right away, almost dropping my phone twice because my hands were shaking so bad. They came pretty fast and found a way someone had been getting in through this old coal chute in our basement. There were signs someone had been living there, sleeping there, while we were all in the house. The creepiest part? The contractor said none of his workers had been at our house for 3 days, but someone had clearly been using their tools at night. They found fresh sawdust near that wall space. The police never caught who it was. We moved out 2 weeks later. I still think about that notebook sometimes, and how long someone might have been watching us before I found it. How many nights I slept in my bed while someone was hiding in the walls, listening, watching. I don't stay home alone anymore. Ever. So this weird thing happened to me last winter break. I'm in grad school, and I was staying in this old Victorian house that got turned into student apartments. The rent was super cheap, which was perfect for my broke student budget. Everyone else went home for the holidays, but I stayed behind to work on my thesis stuff. The first couple nights were fine. I mean, the house was creaky and old, but I didn't think much of it. My room was on the second floor, and I had this little desk lamp that I'd keep on while I worked late. I remember I had this weird habit of leaving my coffee mugs everywhere. I found like 3 of them under my bed when I was looking for my charger one day. By the 4th night, though, I started noticing something off. There was this pattern to the noises. At exactly 1:20 a.m., I know because I kept checking my phone, there'd be this scratching sound from inside the walls, then 3 loud thuds, then nothing until around 4:30 when it would happen again. I told myself it was just the heating system or maybe pipes or whatever, but deep down I knew it wasn't normal. I'm not usually the jumpy type. I've watched tons of horror movies without flinching, but something about those sounds made my skin crawl. I decided to record it one night, set up my phone near the wall where the sounds seemed loudest. When I played it back the next morning, I nearly dropped my phone. There were voices, like actual whispering voices. Couldn't make out what they were saying, but they were definitely human. I called campus security right away. This guy named Officer Martinez came over, checked the basement and attic real quick but didn't find anything. He basically told me old houses make weird noises and left. I remember I was wearing my favorite hoodie that day, the blue one with the hole in the sleeve, and I kept pulling at the threads while he talked. 2 days later, I got out of the shower and went to check something on my laptop. It was gone, just gone, from my locked bedroom. That's when I really freaked out. I started looking everywhere, even checked behind my dresser where I'd once found my missing watch. While searching my closet, I pushed on this section of wall that felt different. It moved. There was a hidden panel that opened into this narrow hallway. With my hands shaking, I grabbed my flashlight. The small one my dad gave me for emergencies, and looked inside. The passage ran through the center of the house. Inside were sleeping bags, food wrappers, and a pile of electronics. I saw my laptop, and Katie's headphones from 3B, and Professor Wilson's tablet that he reported stolen last semester. The university had no idea that at least 3 people had been living in the walls of our house for over a year. They'd come out when we were sleeping or away. The worst part? I found a key ring with copies of all our room keys. I backed away and called the police this time, not campus security. While waiting, I sat in my car, doors locked. I couldn't stop thinking about how many nights I'd slept while strangers watched through the walls, waiting for the right moment to come out. I never went back to that house. Some things you just can't unknow.